Hello everyone, Pickems are here, stickers are here, so let's talk about stage 1. Now, I feel like this stage 1 is actually going to be good because a lot of the teams in stage 1 I actually follow because of my broadcast work recently, right? I've been at a couple of tournaments, both tier 1 and tier 2, where a lot of these teams performed, and thanks to them they qualified to the major, so I had to watch pretty much every single match because I had to interview them, and therefore I kind of get like pretty good grasp of what these teams, or at least some of these teams, are capable of, especially the European ones. So caveat to this is that I'm recording this as CAC is going on. So what I recommend is that before the major starts, or when the deadline hits for the stage 1 to lock in the Pickems, check this video and check the top comment, because I might do some slight adjustments, and I will pin that in the comment under the video. The reason is that CAC, the results might kind of change the way I think about this stage 1. There are still some teams competing there, and they might have an insane run and actually even win the tournament, which will influence me, obviously. And then I'm also traveling to Barcelona for Stake Ranked episode 2, where Heroic is still playing, and straight from there they go to the major. So make sure to check the top comment before the deadline is arriving, because also we might have some roster changes, right? And people swapping out players. For example, Bedboom, they're still unsure how they're going to be playing. It's same with Pain, but they're in stage 2, so we will see. With more and more people coming to play Counter-Strike due to decent updates lately, we see that some people simply forgot about their cool skins in their inventory. If you're one of them looking to sell via person to person, or you simply want to snatch something cool to upgrade your loadout, look no further. Because there's ShadowPay, which is actually a solid place to buy, sell, or trade skins. But most importantly, the whole process is quick and trivial. Picking what you like, adding it to the cart, and completing the whole purchase takes literally 8 clicks. I counted. And if you want to trade, that is just as easy. Exchanging your old loadout by selecting skins on the left for something fresh and new on the right is always an option. Again, just few clicks needed. The selection is large, and if you catch a good deal, skins are often priced better than on Steam Market, so keeping an eye out on your favorite skins can pay out in dividends. And speaking of paying dividends, make sure to save some money and also support this channel by using code STYKO when topping up your balance. All the links are in the description. Oh, and before I forget, for using ShadowPay often, you shall get rewarded. All active users can participate and win some cool extra skins to either use or turn into balance over at the giveaway section. Once again, use code STYKO, which works when you top up that balance. And now, let's get back to the video. Let's get into it. Now, I do think there are like 3 specific pools of teams in this stage 1. Some teams that I definitely think will go through, and I'm unsure whether it's going to be 3-0 or 3-1 or 3-2. Then there are some teams that are heavy 0-3 contenders. For me, those are, I believe, 4 teams when I'm looking at it. And then there are some teams that I just don't see them making through, and I will go through reasons why. So let's start with the teams that I think definitely should go through. Those are B8. They're having pretty solid run recently, especially at CAC. I like how they're playing. They're really finding their form, because last month looked really rough for them. Then I want to talk about Bedboom. I think they fumbled in IEM Atlanta, the playoff that they had, but they beat Vitality. And generally, when they're playing like big dogs, they're playing pretty well. Against lower tier teams, they struggled, so it might be... I definitely don't want to put them 3-0. Let's put it that way. I still think they will go through, but I think they're one of the 3-1, 3-2 picks. For Heroic and Gamer Legion, Gamer Legion is the heaviest 3-0 contender in my opinion. Okay, they're playing really well against these kind of oppositions, even against the better players. Individuals are really sharp. Apeks, one of the better or best tier 2 openers that I've seen in a long time, which is funny because Gamer Legion always struggled having a good opener. Now Apeks is actually insane. PR is doing really good. Res, these 3 guys are basically the whole engine that drives Gamer Legion forward, and I'm excited to see them. I think this is heavy 3-0 contender. Let's see if they stay there. With Heroic, I think also they got to the major just barely. You know, they've had some struggles, and they were in a good position, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, they actually might not go through. So I still think they're in a decent spot when I compare them to the rest of the teams. I do not think this is a 3-0 category. I think this is more like a 3-2 team, maybe on the verge of actually not making, depending on how, you know, it looks, because yeah, it's like a roller coaster season kind of for them. BIG, I did not see them much, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm excited to see them. I'm excited how they play, especially with Blamef, you know, unleashing and being this kind of most impactful guy on the team. Griggs as well, having good stats. I don't know. I feel like this is again like one of those 3-1, 3-2 teams, barely making it, but I do think they're still going to go through. I don't have too much data on BIG, so maybe maybe we'll actually replace them and put them out of this. We'll see how it goes. Sinners, I just got them I have to put them through. Like, this is full bias, but Sinners just have to go through. Plus, on the bright side, is they're playing really well all of a sudden, right? The start of the season again wasn't that great, but as soon as the major race got really close, they had insane win in Romania at the BC game tournament. I'm not sure how it's exactly called. Then they fumbled a little bit in Portugal, but then they went to Barcelona, where they actually won again. And I was at that event. I saw them lifting the trophy. I did interviews with them a couple of times. The way they played wasn't just them stomping on teams, but they actually going like through good decisions, good calling, and everyone was like pretty sharp. Everything kind of like made sense, you know, like very logical CS, but at the same time, individuals made them kind of like unreadable in a way. So Sinners, I'm very impressed. I think it's one of the most improved teams that we're seeing in stage 1. Yeah, I think that for the first part of the season at least. About B8, I still think it's either 3-1, 3-2 or 3-0. I'm gonna put them for 3-1 right now, and we will see how that goes. I intentionally skip M80 and MIBR. We will come back to that. About Tyloo and LinVision. Okay, let's talk about Chinese teams. I hope karma exists, and I hope none of these teams will make it through, because what they did and the amount of forfeits in the race major to grant LinVision the spot at the major was kind of ridiculous, and all the situations were really scummy because they were playing like multiple tournaments, not even consecutive ones, but like at the same time. And in one tournament they decided to play Tyloo, and then in one tournament they decided to forfeit to benefit LinVision to give them points. It was really weird, okay? And I do not believe that this was... Okay, they said that they had health issues, but at the same day, one match got forfeited because of the health issues, while the other match was perfectly fine. They were playing, and they were competing, and they were, I think, winning as well. So I have no clue what is happening, but, you know, with all of this drama around it, I sure hope that none of them will make it through to the next stage, and I don't even think they're playing particularly well, that they should be beating a lot of the teams that we're putting in the 3-1, 3-2. So, in my opinion, LinVision and Tyloo are not going to make it through. However, I do think they will win at least one match. So, I'm not putting them in a 0-3 pool. Let's talk about 0-3 pool though, because we have 2 Brazilian teams and 2 Australian teams that I feel like are a heavy contender for this 0-3 pool. Those being Sharks, Gaming Gladiators, FlyQuest, and Thunder Down Under. Now, a lot of you might say, what FlyQuest? Why? They're playing, okay, they're playing majors, and they're having JKs and experience, and now they have European Open. Recent form, absolutely terrible. The whole season, it all started even in Draculon, where they somehow beat very closely Sinners, as I remember. And after that, it went downhill, okay? They got Story as an Oper. They're actually stuck. Part of the team is stuck in Australia. Part of the team is stuck in Europe. They're unable to practice together. Story mentioned this in an interview where they've been practicing for like only 3 weeks since they've been together. It's been really bad experience. They've been losing to pretty much everyone. And even when I look at... Okay, so even if I look at the teams they've been playing, okay? 5-star lost 1-2 to them. Let's check, okay? Like, it's not even a second or third best Mongolian team. They've been... Okay, it's been pretty close loss, nonetheless. They've lost to GG Hao, again, in a kind of like a local and European mixed team. They've barely beaten... They actually lost to Tyloo recently, okay? They lost to Alter Ego when they're playing some competition against Europeans. Like, Okay, this is Draculan, so this is start of the season, but you can even see how little of a playtime they have against European opposition. And when they do, well, they've been fumbling pretty hard. This loss to Heroic was pretty one-sided as well. And it's not looking good, okay? And I actually think one of these brackets that I mentioned is actually going to struggle at the major. And I'm thinking Brazilian teams, I always put Brazilian teams like not making it 0-3. Every major, I do this mistake. And I'm not going to do this mistake one more time. That means I'm putting both Australian teams in a 0-3 bracket. I actually think Sharks and Gaming Gladiators can cook at least something. And I've done some simulations as well, okay? How I think opening round will go through. I do think MAT against Lin Vision. I don't know why. I think Lin Vision will actually beat them. When I look at these things, okay, Sharks and Gaming Gladiators are playing each other in round 2. If everything that goes according to the plan, to my plan. And that's why I don't want to put Brazilian, because one of them will go 0-2. But I think then in the 0-2 pool, they have pretty good chances of, you know, drawing Tyloo, which they can beat. They can beat. And I'm honestly happy if FlyQuest play against Thunder Down Under in 0-2 pool, because that means one of the Australian teams I will get a point for that. So tactical point in 0-3, in my opinion, if you put 2 Australian teams there. All right. So this is my reasoning for that. Now let's get back to 3-1-3-2. Liquid. What the hell is Liquid doing? I have no clue. The form that they've been in since adding Mario, Malps, absolutely terrible. Leash is not having a good time lately. Like 2 tournaments in a row where things are just looking rough. Shuhei is also like having really hard time IGLing this team. It's a lot of miscommunication. Every interview you're seeing from them, from Flashy, from Shuhei, they're saying they're not on the same page. They don't have the same vision. And obviously they cannot make roster changes in front of the major, but I don't see this team Liquid being the same team after the major. This might be a heroic kind of like a dead team buff run. However, I do think that they are closer to 0-3 than to 3-1-3-2 pool. I'm dead ass, okay? I'm not even joking. This is my feeling from Team Liquid. It feels like a soulless team. I think Sponge said it perfectly. I've seen them in IEM Atlanta. Actually, by the time I got to Atlanta, they were already eliminated. But I saw their games from the replay, and not looking good. Gaming Gladiators, Fur is in, which is wild to me that Fur is about to play the major. Sharks, we will see how these guys... I think actually these guys will be in Barcelona as well, so I wonder how they will do there. Maybe they will stomp everyone. Let's actually check it there. So this is the stake event that I was talking about, and I said Heroic is the only team that is at the major. Wrong. Sharks as well. They might play each other in the upper semifinal if they win. However, if Sharks win this event, okay, it's going to be very hard. But if they win this event, this might change my opinion, and maybe I will put them in the 3-1-3-2 pool. However, I need to see how they perform against European opposition. Unfortunately, they played South American team. It is 100% likely that they will face some European opposition, because if they win, they play winner of Heroic NIP. If they lose, they play loser of this game. So I want to see how they do, and it might change my opinion. However, Sharks, in my opinion, again, 1-3 team, maybe 2-3 team. It's going to be fairly impossible for them to get into 3-1-3-2 pool. Next up, NRG, MIBR, MAT. One of these teams, I think, will make it through. Maybe even 2. And if I have to put chances on it, I will put actually MIBR. Okay? I don't know why I'm having this kind of a hunch, but I think since they added LNZ as a captain, not a bad performance. I think they actually beat Bait today as I'm recording this. Insani is having some really good maps that are carrying them through. Klim is also showing pretty good promise. When I look at NRG, they fumbled CAC, but honestly, Bro had to be substituted out, so I'm not going to take that into too much of a consideration. So they had the last finish exit at Atlanta as well. I'm not convinced on this. And these two teams, whenever they play each other, it's always kind of like, it's always a good matchup, but I don't see none of them. Maybe one of them will make through, but there's not enough space. Actually, there is. What am I saying? There should be one more 3-0 team. Okay, let me look at the simulation, because we might actually cook something up here. Can one of these teams go actually 3-0? If there's a pretty okay chance, I will put that because I'm happy with my 3-1-3-2 pick. That's pretty safe. Gamer Legion, Bait, Heroic, Bet Boom. This will be BIG, Lin Vision. Okay, MAT are not going through 3-0. What about NRG? Definitely not as well. Holy hell, how am I going to do that? Okay, what if MAT actually wins against Lin Vision? Who they are playing? Heroic in a best of one. Heroic in a best of one. Okay, let me click this out. So Tyloo, NRG. I think Lin Vision will win this, and then hopefully Liquid wins something. And now MAT against Gamer Legion in a 2-0 pool. What if I put BIG in 3-0 pool and then that leaves one extra space for MAT to be in a 3-1-3-2? I think this is what I'm going to do, okay? I don't know why. BIG might surprise and go really smooth through this bracket. Or maybe they will fumble. They will fumble and they will not even go through, which I'm happy about if I put them in 3-0. Because then they don't take any spot away from 3-1-3-2 advanced. And therefore, I feel like this is my Pickems. A lot of the yap, but as I said, I would rather over-explain and give you some context of what is happening than to just blindly put it through without any thinking. I didn't go through a simulation like one by one and calculate everything. I do think there's going to be some upsets in the first round, okay? Because it's best of one, start of the major, and not all favorites are going to make through. But I'm going to be surprised if there's going to be like more than 2 upsets, okay? I think generally teams on the left here are going to have easier time. Well, not on the left here, but on the left here are going to have a easier time. I do think this is a little bit scuffed. I think Lin Vision might actually win this, but MAT will come back from 0-1 pool into making it. And as I said, before the deadline, check this video and check the pinned comment. If there are going to be some adjustments, I 100% will share it in time with you, depending on the results of CAC and Stake Ranked Episode 2, where I'm going to go. So, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Shout out to you, all of my Patreons and Coffee members, for your continual support. It allows me to create more content like this. Your name is on the screen right now as a little token of appreciation. I used Coffee for years, where you can find extra content and perks at various tiers of membership, but due to popular demand, I set up Patreon too. Nothing changes, both platforms are treated equally, with same content, just for your convenience to use whichever side you prefer. Thank you for making my videos better and possible.